as a percentage of the GDP to up to 20%. The massive potential is beyond belief, and I think only someone who's blind cannot see that. So if we are to go back to the three pillars of our discussion today, the interesting part is that for a knowledgeable and discerning audience like this in front of me, I don't have much profoundness to add from what you already know. Okay? But as I said, you will hear me again. So people are the soul of any hospitality industry. They are not just staff, they are the ambassadors, they are brand ambassadors, they are the storytellers, they are the culture bearers. They are ones who serve the guests, and they are ones who the guests see in front of them at all times. I want to give you a personal experience. Whenever I travel and whenever I go on a vacation, eventually what you remember at the end of it is probably yes, a few animals that you saw in the safari, but you always have the picture of a person that did something for you, and you experienced it, and you enjoyed it, and you remember that person for a long time. I remember when I was talking about Zimbabwe earlier. I remember when I went to Zimbabwe, a guy that took us for a visit. He was such a nice guy. He was such a relaxed person. 6 years later, I still remember this person. So always there's something like that. The taxi driver that will take you somewhere and he will not try to cheat you. The taxi driver that will give you information, he will tell you stories. These are the people that are making all the difference. In Nigeria, everybody said that our people is our greatest asset. But for this to translate into a tourism revolution, we must invest in them, in their training, their growth, and their well-being. We need people with creativity to design unforgettable experiences. We need people with curiosity to learn, adapt, and innovate. We need people with compassion to serve from the heart. We need people with courage to challenge old models and dream bigger. We need people with grit and determination to keep going even when the industry stumbles. In Nigeria, we have a small issue with our people because when they think of jobs that have to do with tourism and hospitality, they think something that has to do with servitude. And they tend to look down on these jobs. It's about time for us to change the narrative, even within ourselves, and start realizing that serving is actually a very empowering thing. And it's not something that takes you down, but it's something that takes you up. Because you are in control, you are in charge, you are the one who controls the experience of the person in front of you. When I was growing up, and I decided that I wanted to go down the hospitality route, it was something that excited me when I became a waiter for the first time, and I realized how you can control the experience of the person that is eating, how you can make that a fantastic experience, and how this experience can be something that is really, really rubbish. And then I realized for the first time that I am in control, I am empowered, and that is what we have to pass. This is the message that needs to be passed on. And it's not like, okay, you did not succeed to become a doctor, you did not succeed to become a lawyer, you did not succeed to become an engineer. What is further down, we keep on going down until we reach hospitality. No, that's not the case. Hospitality and tourism are very empowering industries, and they're industries that can have a significant impact in the lives of people that are coming in touch with us. So, as I was saying, the hotels that we build, the experiences we design, the guests we serve, they are all part of shaping the global image of this continent and in general, and this nation in particular. So if we want to change the picture that people have about Nigeria and get away from the idea of the scampings, of the 419, of all this nonsense, we have to bring people into us, okay, and at the same time show them something that they cannot believe. And then they become themselves ambassadors when they go out. I want to give you a practical example. When my church, I'm going to House on the Rock, started the Experience Concert 20 years ago, I will never forget how American gospel musicians did not want to come to Nigeria for nothing. They did not want to come here. It was serious convincing, too serious convincing, and serious effort for them to decide to come here. But each and every one of them who became ambassador, and they repeat visitors that they experienced the world of Nigeria and pretended embrace. So we see now themselves convincing others to come. And this is the trend. And now you have people calling and say, okay, I want to come to be part of this event. And more or less this is what is happening on something that I'm going to talk a little bit later. What's happening with Dirty December is the word of mouth. People going out and talking about this Dirty December that we are all known, and people want to come and experience it. I believe, and I say that not lightly, that Nigeria's greatest export in the 21st century will not be oil or minerals, it will be hospitality with soul. The second part we discussed is culture and the story that we must tell. Culture is our gold mine. Think of what makes Nigeria unique. Our languages. They talk about 2,000 languages. Our food, our fashion, our music, our festivals. When visitors travel, they don't just come to Africa for beaches or safaris. They come to feel something real. And with all my due respect, and my very good friend is here, this is what Dubai, for example, is like. There's no spirit. There's no spirit. Whenever I go to Dubai, I have a picture in my mind, which is, I see like a $100 bill flying in the air, and millions of people running after it. And when they manage to catch it, somebody is ready to take it from them. So it doesn't even last long, this whole experience. But what we have here is real, okay? And we have to start conveying that and communicating it and also giving it to others. I spoke to you about Greece. So Greece offers mythology and island charm. That's what we offer. Yeah? Spain delivers flamenco, tapas, and passion. Now they cannot even accommodate the guests that want to go there and enjoy themselves. Egypt tells its history, the pyramids, the pharaohs. South Africa has wildlife and vibrant culture. They have packaged their identity into unforgettable experiences. I keep on repeating this word, the word experience, the word feelings. This is what the tourist, this is what the person that is going somewhere wants to feel. Otherwise, if you go to the internet and see pictures of elephants, you can see pictures of giraffes, you can see pictures of the Acropolis, you can see pictures of Barcelona. But no, you want to go and feel what are these people having there. So the tourists come to feel and experience something unique, something that is not available where they come from. And Nigeria, we have 1,000 stories to tell, but we haven't told them well enough. We need to curate cultural tourism in a way that is respectful, exciting, and immersive. Religious tourism. I want to talk about religious tourism, in Saudi Arabia. It contributes 7% to the national GDP. And if we exclude oil, it contributes 20% of the national GDP. That is religious tourism. That is people going to Mecca, to Medina, going for Umrah, going for all these things. So that means 20%, 1/5 of the whole economy of a nation depends on one tourism that is religious tourism. So these figures illustrate the central role that religious tourism plays in Saudi Arabia, and they even have put it as their vision, they call it Vision 2030. It's part of it. It's not something that just happens accidentally. It's not okay, Muhammad went to Mecca, now the Muslims have to go there. No, it's part of a structural and a structured approach for them to attract the Muslims, to go there and also spend the money in this country. So I don't see any reason why we cannot do the same, for example, for Osun Osogbo, to make the global spiritual retreat. So if I sound funny, please let me know. But these are the experiences that we have to sell. We're talking about the Agungu Fishing Festival, we're talking about the Jude Obaizebu, the Sabi Festival, Ekbaleganza. There are too many. There are too many experiences, that we have not sold well enough to the world. The government needs to take on the role of simply promoting these yearly staples with intentionality, drawing an audience that long for this. The role of the government, also a regulator, is to go beyond the collector of fees and dues and focus on the promotion and development of the sector by even participating in direct and indirect financing. Community-based tourism is extremely important in our Nigerian context. And it's more than just a travel trend. It's a purposeful approach that ensures tourism acts as a tool for sustainable development, cultural preservation, and community empowerment. I remember when I first went to Switzerland, maybe 30 years ago, or 40 years ago. I was impressed by going to some artificially made villages where you could go and see the whole experience of how people used to live 150 years ago. And it was something that excited me, something that remains still in my mind. Imagine that in Nigeria, these villages are real. Real people live there. It's not something that you have actors performing. So how much of interest would that be? I don't want to spend a lot of time describing that in December to you, and particularly in the contribution of it to Nigeria and to the economy. Just I want to advise you that you book early if you plan to be in Lagos in December, because the hotels are almost fully booked now and you are in July.
Okay.
I would like also to spotlight our Hollywood, our artists, our cuisine, all these things that have already been described, and there are elements that we need to sell and we need to promote as Nigerians. It would be impossible for me to give you the opportunity to stand in front of you and not tell you a little bit of the story of Eco Hotel and Swiss contribution to the development of the sector in Nigeria. I'm really thankful to the President of NANDA for his kind words and his commendation for Eco Hotel. We appreciate that. It takes courage and it takes serious commitments, both financially and mentally, to develop infrastructure and content that will attract returns on investment. The development of additional hotel buildings, the development of the convention center, and of course the creation of events like our tropical Christmas Wonderland have contributed massively in shaping the hospitality scene and act as an encouragement to others to emulate and follow in the same vein. But it's not for the faint-hearted, and it's not without sacrifice and dedication. We are now more than just a hotel, and this vision is what drives us forward and shows others the path to follow. Nigerians also have to be the brand ambassadors for driving this revolutionary growth in the industry. Let us stop hiding our soul behind bureaucracy and bring it into the spotlight. In regards to infrastructure, the infrastructure is the bridge to possibility. We can say whatever we want. If the infrastructure is not there, we're not going to get too far. So no matter how vibrant our people or culture, tourists won't come if the roads are broken. As one of the panelists said previously, you might have the best heritage site. If you don't have a road to reach it, it's as good as useless. If the roads are broken, the airports are chaotic, or the hotels lack consistency. Infrastructure isn't just physical, it's also digital, environmental, and operational. In Greece, cruise ports and ferry lines are optimized. Spain's high-speed trains connect every region. Egypt has massive investments in museum networks. The Cairo Museum, that was opened a couple of years ago, it cost Egypt over $1 billion. Do you hear the amount? $1 billion. I don't think we have ever spent in this country anything close to that to promote our tourism. South Africa's airports, highways, and security systems are geared towards tourism flow. What about us? It's time to see tourism not as a luxury, but as a core industry. It's time to build reliable intercity connections, streamline visa and arrival processes, promote sustainable building practices in hotels, use technology to promote bookings, guides, and translation services. Inclusive infrastructure also means accessibility, tourism that embraces women, people with disabilities, and rural communities. Growth that includes all and benefits all. I think it was discussed during the panel as well, the inclusion of all and the benefits to all. So what can we do right now? We need to support skills development. That's the first thing. Hospitality, schools, mentorships, apprenticeships, these are all very, very important. And of course the change of mentality that people have towards these two industries, tourism and hospitality. Encourage local enterprise, handicrafts, tour operators, storytellers, anything that has to do with the local development of content. promote regional cooperation. Tourism does not end at the borders, and so we create West Africa travel circuits and also further African travel circuits. Invite the world with attention. Nigeria must learn how to sell itself well. We don't know how to sell ourselves well. You know, we're very good in dragging ourselves down and promoting the negativity that there is in the country, but we forget to promote what is positive and what is good about our country. So this is a mentality, this is a change of mind. This is what Apostle Paul said, the renovation of the mind. At this stage, and particularly when talking about infrastructure, my role is not to condemn or criticize, as this is easy. My role is to encourage, contribute, and preach from every mountaintop the immense possibility of the industry, as you Business Day are doing so eloquently and powerfully with this conference. I would particularly like to have an appeal to the young people, the younger generation. The industry will not grow by accident, it will grow by action. And that is the action of young people. Young Nigerians particularly, whether you are a chef, a coder, a tour guide, or a cultural enthusiast, the future is yours to say. Be bold, be curious, be resilient. Your courage, your creativity, and your compassion will build an industry that makes the world fall in love with Nigeria. This is our time. Let's not wait for the world to come and validate us. Let's show the world who we are, proudly, inclusively, and with heart. Thank you very much.
Once again, please put your hands together for Mr. Danny Kipro for that very thought out presentation. And now welcome for another presentation, the Special Advisor to the Governor of Cross River State on Obudu Ranch Reserve, Mr. Sunday Michael, for another presentation.